China's tourism ministries are coming up with weird ways to fight over tourists in what many are calling a rat race, including hiring 6-foot hunks and beautiful girls, and also dressing up as zombies. Much like viral food tours, this is all that's left. Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. You might have seen these videos across YouTube or Instagram. Beautiful ice castles, bustling street fairs, and people doing town square dancing in the cold winter. This is Harbin, one of the largest cities in northeastern China. And many people are flocking to this destination for their winter vacation. And this has been going viral in China. So it sounds like China's economy is back, right? Well, not quite. In China's current economic downturn, tourism seems to be a life-saving straw for officials in every province. Now, we see many directors of cultural and tourist affairs or ministers, they're actually participating in this fight over the tourists for this upcoming vacation season. And they have to use quite strange tricks up their sleeves to attract the tourists. And of course, we know that since the pandemic started in China, there's been a lack of overall spending and a lack of tourism as well, even after the post-lockdown periods. China has entered deflation and their consumption is really low. Of course, tourism comes in waves, but it's being propagandized as a long-term improvement by the regime. Actually, last summer, many traveled to my hometown in China for a barbecue tour, and that was it was hyped all over the internet in China. And now they're flocking to a cold city. After Harbin's cold tour kicked off a craze of tourist campaigns in China, attracting millions to go there for a week-long trip, more provinces started to follow, with the Bureau or Ministry of Tourism doing the uttermost. Now, to the credit of the tourist ministers, they're actually, this is quite entertaining to watch because some of the videos are just plain funny. But others, they're also using quite bizarre ways. For example, these include desperate attempts to hand out diamonds personally by the tourist minister at train stops and ports, or they're dressing up like terracotta warriors and doing the viral dance known as Subject 3. Or in some cases, there's zombie videos flying around, which is quite weird if you want to attract tourists, but maybe some people are into that. But let's be real honest here. Is a family spending 2,000 yuan for a vacation going to rescue the deepening issues with the Chinese economy? Probably not. But this is a fun episode, so stick around for the ride. Now, one tourist ministry allegedly posted for more than 24 hours straight of just videos about their province and the tourist destination. And in fact, one province called Henan, they went on 36 hours straight of just posting videos on social media. So why do they fight over tourists? Well, because they have to. Because provincial debt and economic activities have slowed down so much, there's actually a need to make some money. And so especially things like tourism or eating has been seen as basically stimulating the lower end of consumption, right? You're not spending too much money, but you're technically still spending money. Even though it doesn't generate a broader improvement, it does give them the chance to propagandize as if the economy is back. But the point is, because the overall trend is still so bad, they're fighting over the same batch of people who are deciding where to go for their vacation. Those that can afford it, those that can't afford it, which is a huge quantity of people in China, still cannot go anywhere. And that's why it's becoming a rat race to see who can be more bizarre, who can be the worst to attract those that come. I mean, still, from the perspective of a city, if you're lucky, you get to have a craze over, like, a wave of tourists, and that at least makes you some money. And of course, this is all under the context of China's three golden industries: export manufacturing, real estate, as well as broader consumption. They're all down. So a lot of people lamented online saying that who would have thought that at the beginning of the year, the industry that saw the most volume would be cultural and tourism. And that's where things are happening, right? They expect it to happen in somewhere else, which is not, because as we discussed in the last video, the overall economy is doing terribly. Now, just like the short-lived hype over my hometown barbecue tours last summer, this is bound to be short-lived as well. But, last year we saw this huge craze all over China, spending very little amounts of money, and you can go somewhere, enjoy delicious food. And their tour and cultural ministry at the local spot did really well promoting it. But that's it. And now, because many are copying the success of the more recent Harbin city success, that they're using unconventional methods, so to speak. And China goes for the tried and true method of using sex appeal to try to attract tourists. In videos, they're seen hiring girls and beautiful girls and apparently 6-foot guys to get in promotional videos. In the province of Henan, authorities are using beauty traps, both guys and girls, to do this. In this video, just shirtless guys with muscles catering to the female tourists, posing by a waterfall to show off the natural scenery, Or this one, specifically targeting male tourists, make it seem like if you come here for a tour, even the traffic cops look like celebrities. You get to see all the beautiful girls. And a video actually went viral in China today, or these past few days, which is basically two cosplayers, one male, one female, cosplaying as the fox demon known as Daji, who ruined the dynasty in China's history. And they were taking photos with a tourist. And so obviously online, people were talking about how well the cosplays were, but this drew the attention of the People's Daily. And they went out with an article criticizing this couple of the cosplayers, saying that you shouldn't be this low when it comes to trying to attract tourism, and you should still have bottom lines, you should have principles, and you should still have rules, saying that these are desperate attempts. Sounds like that's apparently too much for the CCP. Now, because I just said that China has entered deflation following the post-COVID lockdowns, this has caused spending overall to decrease. Even though price of goods are cheaper, it's still not generating a lot of buying. And then that's basically what happens in deflation, right? Consumerism, there's no eagerness to buy now because things are more expensive. Like, for example, in inflation, if you don't buy today, maybe things will be more expensive tomorrow. So you end up buying it more frequently, or you actually want to buy. But because things are cheaper in deflation, you don't really necessarily have the urgency to buy something. So now, under this context, the CCP is desperate to propagandize an overall increase in spending. So really, if you think about it, even though people are traveling now, it's still much cheaper to travel today than it was, for example, during an inflationary period. So that means not a lot of revenue is being generated. So using the example of my hometown barbecue craze last summer, people can go there for a meal that's $5 to $10. They can stay at a lodging place for maybe $20, $30. And the overall trip wasn't that expensive. And it was a fun, popular, and viral trip to go on to. And so many local barbecue stalls were put up, like hundreds of them, right? And then after that wave died down, now these stalls, they can't even get 5 to 10 people a day. And that's why it's called a low-end consumption, because these are things that happen and doesn't really affect people's wallets and banks. So they can just do this without actually putting in the effort to, say, buy a house or buy a car or make a larger purchase. Some of the provinces are doing crazy stuff, like limousine service for incoming tourists, guessing the answer and get diamond as gifts, direct shuttle cars, free night stays, and more. It's even gotten to a point where different people from different provinces online, they're comparing to what their tourist ministers would do just to attract tourists. For example, one of them is from Sichuan, which is the place known for eating spicy food, says their minister could drink a whole pot of spicy soup bottomed from hot pot in one go. And another reads, our Guangdong minister can eat 100 cockroaches. A netizen from Guangxi said that their director of culture and tourism can cut 5 tons of sugar oranges a day. Not to be beaten, the province of Henan's netizens claimed that their director of culture and tourism can plow 10 miles of land in 1 minute. And then Shanxi province netizens claimed that theirs can drink 100 barrels of vinegar in one breath. Meanwhile, Anhui netizens said that their cultural and tourist director is more powerful, can bungee jump off of Huangshan Mountain without a rope. So finally, a commenter says, sounds like you guys are saying that your director or your minister can eat poop, but can theirs? Basically, it's a sign saying that what's the point in comparing all these low-end consumptions? It doesn't really affect the overall economy. Now, according to China's Tourism Academy, China's domestic tourism market has recovered and will reach a new level of development in 2024. And they claim that it's expected in 2024 the number of domestic tourist trips and domestic tourist revenue will exceed 6 billion and 6 trillion in numbers, respectively. That is the number of trips and the number of tourism, or the overall revenue. Inbound and outbound tourism will exceed 264 million yuan. International tourism revenue will exceed 107 billion US dollars. And now, of course, they're not going to say that tourism is bad, but they will just skip on the idea that this really doesn't change the overall economy outlook. And of course, this is because there's a directive order from the top saying not to badmouth the economy. In reality, as I talked about in my last video about the Chinese economy, what's happening in the stock market, what's happening in export, the population decline, and all of these things are the real indicators of the broader economy, not tourism or eating some barbecue stalls. So the bottom line is, as fun, as entertaining as it is to watch these directors doing crazy things, this really doesn't solve the fundamental issues in China's economy. Anyways, if you enjoyed the content, leave a like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. That's it today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of China Insider. We'll see you next time.